Over the past 3 years, we've taken over 100 flights with our daughter. Dozens of cities, planes, trains, rental cars.
All right, Croatia, here we come, baby.
Every form of transportation you can imagine, but the chaos never changes.
It's claustrophobic, huh?
Here?
Today, we're heading to LA to visit my family. First up, a 2-hour drive to the airport.
We're so early.
2 hours early.
Then a short flight that never actually feels short.
I lost my boarding pass in this whole situation.
And if we're lucky, we'll survive another round of airport madness without completely losing it.
What happened?
You have an inspection somehow. I don't understand why. Okay, here, let's put these away.
After this many flights, you start to pick up a few tricks.
Look at this guy's system.
Wow.
Little routines that make the chaos feel a little bit more doable.
Now that we've seen the gate, we can go somewhere else.
Because Daddy just wanted to see. He just wanted to see the gate with his own eyes.
And every now and then, you meet someone who's operating on a whole other level.
If you are traveling through LaGuardia Terminal C, that's Delta, here is a little-known shortcut that could save you a ton of time, especially during the summer holidays.
So I'm staying at a very basic hotel off the highway doing Route 66, and I brought my own teacup, porcelain, of course. Okay, so you want to see the strangest thing that I'm traveling with on my Route 66 journey? Hard-boiled eggs.
She's hosted 14 travel shows, covered 65 countries, traveled more miles than we can count. And today, she's sharing everything she's learned along the way. I'm Michael Motometti.
And I'm Vanessa Salas.
This isn't just a travel podcast, people. It's your backstage pass to the world's hidden corners. It's vibrant food and the incredible people you never meet on the tourist trail. For 3 years, we've been living out of suitcases and trading hotel rooms for street food stands. We're all about finding hidden spots, meeting the local legends, and tasting the flavors that make a place come alive. Join us as we taste the wild and the wonderful and hear the stories that only locals know. This is No Fixed Address, your passport to the world's best kept secrets. Season 2 is going off without a bang. We're almost midway through the season, and this has been an extraordinary, rewarding experience, I gotta say.
We've been eating, we've been drinking, traveling, and today's guest is like the travel expert, has eaten everywhere in the world.
The godmother of travel. I mean, we might be aging ourselves a little bit, but she is the godmother of travel, Samantha Brown.
Samantha Brown, fairy godmother of travel.
The fairy godmother or the godmother? I mean, whatever you want to call her, she's absolutely amazing.
And today we're talking travel, food, and a lot of airport talk because both Samantha Brown and us spend a ton of time at the airport. She's got some great tips. You've got some great tips. Same with me. Although you guys take travel really seriously. I'm more like go with the flow.
Yeah, I just like the fact that, having a conversation with someone who does as much or if not more travel than us, because you have these kind of conversations that are pretty interesting. I mean, even to somebody who isn't traveling as much as us, but it's also extremely interesting to understand, like, how do other people that do this much travel do what they do? Airport hacks, hotel hacks, hotel OCDs, which, as you were saying, like, I myself have an extreme amount of anxiety, OCD, perfectionist, germaphobe, hypochondriac. I mean, any other description you can imagine, you place it into my resume. And I feel like Samantha Brown had a little bit of that as well, too.
I think so, a little bit, which translates into being at the gate the moment, actually like half an hour before your flight is called.
Doesn't matter how long, half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hour, as soon as you get past security, you walk immediately to your gate, just so that you know exactly where it is in the airport. Even if you've been at that airport a million times, you have to have a perimeter walk. You have to know exactly where that gate is, and you have to know when you need to be there when you're boarding.
The dreaded perimeter walk. Do you know that it's not a controversy, but it's a thing. These people, they call them gate lice.
I've never heard about that. What is that?
It's people that hang around the gate before their flight is boarding, and you just crowd the gate because you have so much anxiety about boarding.
I am gate lice.
You're a good lice. And it's said that they suffer from overhead bin anxiety.
I have overhead bin anxiety as well, too. I want to make sure that my stuff is going there, especially because I'm always getting first row bulkheads. I mean, I need to make sure, because, you can't put they don't allow it. They don't allow you to put your, bags in front of you if you're in the bulkhead. So you have to have room up top.
Mm-hmm. That we know.
But listen, back to Samantha Brown. She has some insane travel hacks, some comedic tendencies, I think is a polite way of saying it. I think there was something about a coffee pot. There's something about hotels. I mean, you just have to listen to understand better.
And she did say something, a tip that changed your whole perspective on how to go through an airport.
Can't talk about that. We got to get to the podcast. You have to hear it firsthand.
So Samantha Brown on the show today, she's been guiding us through the world since 1999, long before travel got on Instagram or became content. From the very beginning, she pursued connection, chatting with taxi drivers, sharing meals with locals, and asking the kinds of questions that don't fit on postcards. Over the past 25 years, she's hosted 14 travel series covering 65 countries and logging over 2.5 million miles. That's crazy. Her current show on PBS, it's called Places to Love. It doesn't just take you places. It reminds you why we travel in the first place. Not to escape life, but to understand it. If you're into insider stories about inspiring locals, deep dives into different cultures, and food from around the world, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast.
You ever wish travel planning was easier? You're going to love Guide Geek, your new AI travel assistant. It gives you personalized tips in seconds. Just tell it where you're headed, and it'll help you find the best spots to stay, eat, party, and explore. No endless research needed. Samantha Brown, thank you so much for taking time, and welcome to No Fixed Address.
Oh, Michael and Vanessa, it is so great to be here. I love speaking with travelers. It's always a joy.
All right. Well, for everybody who doesn't know who you are, could you please introduce yourself?
My name is Samantha Brown. I have been traveling as a career for 25 years as a host of travel shows, about 14 of them in total, over 260 hours of travel television. And yeah, I know I once added up all the hours I have spent traveling, like door to door, and I have traveled 35,000 hours of my life has been spent traveling, which is amazing. And I still love it. I was petrified to have my job when I first started, but it still keeps me alive and curious today. And it's just, it is the best job in the world.
I am looking so forward to hearing about your travels. As I'm not sure you're aware, but for the last 3 years straight, my wife and I, Vanessa, have been traveling full time. So we're not as, tenured as yourself, but we're getting there. And curiosity is always there. It does not go away. And what's odd is the addictiveness was surprising to us. At some point I'd be like, "Are you sick of it?" I'm like, "Yeah, but it's like a drug. Like you can't stop."
That's such a great word, because you do. Once you have an experience, even if it's a bad experience, you just think, okay, well, how do I do that better next time? Okay, what did I contribute to that experience? Maybe I can shift this way or go this way, and then I wouldn't have that anymore. And then I can also inform other people on how to do it better, because travel still feels like this great mystery for a lot of people, even though the internet has broken it out widely so people really understand every minute of every trip for people. It's still this big mystery of, is this going to happen the way we think it's going to happen?
Yeah, it still holds such anxiety for people.
Yeah, I think so. And I get that. When I first started traveling, I thought that travel was for the privileged, people who are privileged with not only money, but time and confidence, right? I think it takes a lot of confidence to get on a plane and go somewhere else, either within our own country, the United States, or certainly abroad. What is on that other side? And we could give people the best advice. We could have done it yesterday, but someone's going to do the exact same thing and they could have a completely different experience. So there's a lot of variables with travel, but that's what keeps it exciting, no? Right? That's kind of the addictiveness. It's this boost every time.
I was going to say, actually, even go a step further. For me, I always like to tell people that it's the worst of times that I tell the most stories about. So maybe when you're in it, you're like hating life. But afterwards, when you want to tell this, you're not telling the stories of like the best pizza you had in Italy. You're like, oh my
Yes.
God, it was raining in Naples. This is a true story. Raining in Naples, the cabs were on strike. We didn't know what to do. We're trying to get back to Amalfi. We had to get a private. Our kid was trapped. It was like a whole thing. So okay, well, let's get into it. So I read somewhere that you I think around when you were graduating university, you knew that you wanted to be on stage. Is that correct? Like,
Yes.
talk
So
to
I
us a
went
little bit
to
about your journey. Yeah.
Yeah, so I went to school, Syracuse University, for musical theater. That's an actual major. And all through middle school and high school, I was an actor, singer, dancer, doing all the school plays and doing like the community theater. And so that's where I wanted to be. I love it. I still do. And came to New York City and basically waited on tables for nearly a decade. It was about 8.5 years before I first got a shot at a job as a host. But yeah, I love theater and I love acting, and I especially love comedy and improv comedy. So I did a lot of that as well. And
Really?
luckily,
That's
it
tough.
all yeah, it's very tough, and it all came together with this job. People are like, oh, do you wish you still were, doing improv or doing acting? And I'm like, well, in a way, I still do it because I'm on camera. You have to have a certain performance level on camera. You have to be, somewhat captivating, I guess. And also, it was just about going with the flow. There is no script when you travel. It's just about understanding what you're doing, but also making sure the people who are watching your show feels that there is an arc, there is a story there, and it's your job to ask the questions, to be concise, to be entertaining, and then end the conversation as well. So, so much of my acting background and education actually still plays out today.
But even in hosting a show, right? I mean, we do a lot of social. I had a little stint on MasterChef as well. So
Nice.
it's like I understand how difficult it is to be a host or to be just to be filming content is extremely taxing mentally, physically. I don't think people understand that, right? I mean, even acting in general in a movie, I could only imagine how many scenes, how many
Yeah.
takes are
Yeah.
going on. So like, do you find that as well too? Like, are you exhausted at the end?
Absolutely. I'm exhausted. And as I get older, it's more, I'm older now, where when I was in my 20s and 30s, I had a little more energy. So yeah, usually by the end of the day, I like to get food and bring it back to my hotel room and just eat in my hotel room. I do that a lot. I just don't want to go out. I don't want to interact with anybody. I just need to kind of totally be like alone. Yeah,
How
so
do
I
you
still
how
I
do
still
you
need that.
how do you balance, because this is my difficulty, like how do you balance like just ensuring that you are capturing and really experiencing what you're about to film, because you're lucky, we're
Yeah.
one of the lucky ones to be able to be sitting down with these really cool people and be able to make a little money on the side doing it.
hmm
And what I find that's difficult is like I'm like, oh God, because I'm doing it for work, I'm like, oh,
hmm
okay, let's
hmm
just, sometimes I have to just, snap myself out of it and be like,
hmm
whoa. Do you find that too?
Absolutely. I mean, it is a job, and there is like, okay, I guess and then, but as soon as I've always found that as soon as I meet people, I change immediately. I love learning about them. And it's never about me. It's about the person. And it's my job also as a host, is that it's my job to make them feel comfortable in front of the camera. And so now we build in that time. So if we do, 3 scenes a day, and that's what we're doing, each scene takes 3 to 4 hours. That's what we know. If it's an A scene, which means it's the big one, and we're spending a lot of time with this person, that time is actually built into our schedule for me to talk to them and to be what is literally a host, making them feel comfortable. This is basically my party. You've been invited to it, but it is also my job to make sure you know that this is not on you. It is on me. And that's my job, to give you all the scaffolding you need to be you. And so that it's hard just to kind of arrive and roll the cameras and get any of that rapport that we're going for. That's what I love about the show that I do, Places to Love, is it's really about connecting with people. It's not about me, but that takes time, and we build that into the schedule.
But would you say that you had like a travel experience that went early on that made you just fall in love with travel? Or was it just this thing that you were born with? Like, how did that come about?
Yeah, I definitely had that moment, and surprisingly, it was a good 8 years into my career. I would say my first few years, I honestly didn't think I was that good at what I was doing, and I also didn't know if I wanted my job, because it was a show called Passport to Europe, which is arguably still one of people's the series people know me for, but it was going to all the must-sees, all the greatest hits, and I just thought, I like it, but I don't love it. And I'm on the road 230 days out of the year. And this is really taxing. So I want to love it. And it's only when I went to Latin America that I realized, whoa. And it was because Latin America doesn't have all that infrastructure that Europe has, right? You don't have the 5 must-see museums, right? Imagine going to Rome and not going to the Colosseum, right? All these things you have to do. And Latin America, because they don't have this inundation of must-sees, you really just get to be a part of daily life being more in the moment. And of course they have a museum, of course they have monuments, of course, but it's not this it's not this itinerary that's already been predetermined. And if you haven't done that itinerary, then have you gone to this place? And I loved just being in the moment, being with people as they were that day. And as soon as I had those experiences, I just thought, oh, this is what it's about, really connecting with people in their everyday but extraordinary lives. I always felt like Europe, and I don't approach Europe this way anymore, but Europe always keeps you in the past. You're always seeing the museum. You're always going to seeing the, but what does that mean now? How do the people here sort of interpret that past, and how do we see it and participate in it? So when I first started with Europe, it was just about, okay, it's like I think there's the term ABC, another bloody castle, right? It's just like the ABC tour. It's like,
I've never heard that.
Another bloody cathedral, another bloody, and I think a few years ago I said I had retired from cathedrals. I had retired. I don't need to see another cathedral. I get it. They're 800 years old, the gargoyles, I get it. But no, I understand. But it's all about finding the people who really bring those things to life.
It's funny because I hate tourist sites. Okay,
Yeah.
Vanessa
He doesn't
enjoys
cup,
them.
Samantha. He doesn't
Yeah.
even cup.
He doesn't. It's you. You have to, because people expect to see some of this.
But
there are some things I really want to
to
see.
No, she enjoys it. You know what I mean? And for us, I'll be somewhere for a month or two, and I just want to live like how they're living. That's why I go to different places. That's what I enjoy the most, right? From a travel perspective, is how are all these different humans? How are we alike? How are we different? And it's so interesting because at the same time, we are extremely different and extremely alike, And it's we are all laughing about the same things. We all love food, at least the cool people do,
But what a beautiful thing to identify, because it also kind of talks about the kind of trips you can have. So in Latin America, it's not the same sort of, oh, I went to the Colosseum. Oh, me too. Oh, did you go to the Fountain of Trevi? Oh, yeah, me too. It's kind of like, oh, I got lost in this city I'm going to use Colombia, and I took this motorcycle ride. And you may have done that, but you probably didn't stop at the same plantain side store. And it's a beautiful thing to identify, because I think a lot of people probably love that, but don't know that's why they love, traveling in Southeast Asia or Latin America, or these places that are not so structured and manicured and perfect, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's this idea of, I always tell people, what you're trying to do is, and it maybe get outside your comfort zone isn't the best way to say it, because then people are automatically shut down. But we have to understand that when we're home, we're surrounded by what we know. And what we know is a comfort, but it's also created walls that stop other feelings and other ideas of like, well, I have this problem. How's the solution going to get? It also prevents a lot of really open thinking. But when you travel, those walls come down, and you have different emotions and different experiences simply because you're not surrounded by what you know. And so those moments, like you said, taking the motorcycle and drive around Colombia, like on paper, that might not look as good as going to the Colosseum or going to the top of the Eiffel Tower. It's not this wow moment. And yet in your brain, it's just exploding, right? You're having this like, oh my gosh, because other emotions, feelings are able to get through now to you because you've had that wall of familiarity up for so long. And it rocks your world. But, it's not a very good thing to show in a selfie, right? It doesn't, it's hard to transfer that to like an on camera, to a vlog or a YouTube channel. It's hard because it is so personal.
Well, you are a self-proclaimed airport geek, I believe. What exactly does that mean? Because for me, I am definitely the kind of guy I have to go see the gate with my own eyes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even if I've been to that airport 150 times.
Exactly.
Then I will go and I'll, do a little circumference, around do a little like travel around the airport, see what's going on. And then I pick the place that I want to eat. I mean, I have some systems myself, but what does it mean to be an airport geek?
I just love them. I love walking around them. I belong to some of the clubs, not all of them, but I don't like going in the clubs because now I'm just I feel caught. I feel trapped. And I love to look at where people are going and try to guess from the gate, like where they, if they're all tall and wearing glasses, they're clearly Scandinavian. We all have these wonderful, just stereotypes about, when you see a flight leaving from Mexico City, you will see mariachi hats. It's the best, And so I just love that this is an intersection of humanity. We're all in this one place just for a very short, hopefully short amount of time, but we're all going somewhere else. And I love that energy, that fleetingness that is life. And I know people think that's really romanticizing the airport, but I absolutely love the airport. I don't like security. I hate pre-security airport. That's still to this day, 25 years later, stresses me out. And all the,
You mean
all
like the security line?
Yeah, just like what's it, just the unknowns. And there's a lot of unknowns. And that's why I still get to airports very early because I have gone through every worst thing that could ever happen that you didn't think was going to happen. And it did. So it's just like, if you just show up in plenty of time, all of that stress goes away. And I just love to walk. And airports have become really a lot more interesting. There's local restaurants are being represented in airports, local goods and gifts,
local
and
art. It's really
a local
cool.
art.
Yeah,
exactly. I think it is absolutely a place to enjoy.
I think that is the ultimate airport hack. I want to ask what your ultimate airport hack is, but for me, you just kind of opened me up in a different way of looking. I'm a very means to the ends kind of person, unfortunately. So I don't like the journey. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, even for someone who's a traveler, you know what I mean? So when I think about airport, I'm like, this is the biggest part of stressing me out. I'm like, okay, should I leave at 11:50 or 11:55?
Yeah,
because I'll have 5 minutes less there.
So much
But if you
Vanessa,
look at it.
You got to tell me how you are, because if you guys travel together, who wins the battle? Because that's really tough. It's like,
oh no,
if Michael wants to leave at 11:55 and you're like, hello, 11:30, what do you do?
I know. No, that's the battle, because I'm like, I'm okay with airports. I'm not stressed out. I don't have to go to my gate and see that it exists. I'll just go there at the time of boarding. I can be the last one to board. I don't even have to be in the section at the time.
Tell me about it.
I can go in.
Now you are relaxed. I love that. You could be the last one to board. That's
yeah.
respect.
Sometimes I prefer, if I'm flying alone and I'm not with Michael, because Michael's like the first, Michael's there on time, I'll go last. I'm like, let me do all the things that I
how
don't
do you even survive like that? Like, like I'm thinking my bag's not gonna fit. I just want to get settled in. I mean, but again, this is like kind of a metaphor of our lives. Actually, I am a stress ball, and she is this floating flower through life. You know what I mean? Like, whatever happens.
Yes.
I don't know how she does it, to be very honest with you. What is your number one airport hack? I have to hear this.
I have so many. Just one?
Oh, a couple, whatever. I mean,
Well, so my number one is because people get stressed out, super stressed out at an airport, and you should. It's a stressful place. But my hack is to base my getting to the airport on the boarding time of the flight, not the departure time. And I think that's what people look at. They look at that time, but that's when the plane has left. And so if you base it on the boarding time and you want to be at your gate 15 minutes before that, well, now you've got a better gauge of when you should be walking through the doors of that airport. The other hack that I do is when I depart my flight and I've arrived at an airport, especially a new one, I like to plan my return, which is instead of just like making a beeline, I'm talking to you, Michael, instead of just like, you see the baggage claim signs and that's all you're looking at. Where's the next baggage claim sign? There's the next baggage claim, and just keep walking. Take a look around. Is there like a restaurant that looks somewhat appealing? Is there a place to get a back massage? Does it look like a nice airport? Is it crazy? You usually see security, so you can see like what's happening to the people who are entering it as you're kind of leaving that. And all of that really informs you of your time when you return to that airport, if that is because most of the time.
Big one, by the way.
Yeah, because the terminal is definitely the terminal you are going to return to. And sometimes even the gate, right? That is just
totally.
the gate is, maybe it's 38 one week and it's, 36 the next week
but
when you
that's the
return.
international leg of the thing. So.
Exactly. So you're like, oh, you know what? We'll get there in plenty of time. There was a nice restaurant there. We'll sit down or we'll have a nice lunch. That kind of thing. Now you have is there a play area for your kids? If you have young children, you just kind of take in what is this, because it is a world. It is its own little city. And if you treat it as such and you return, you'll have a better time.
That is
nice one, huh?
like brain exploding kind of thing.
Yeah,
like,
all right.
Because I am that guy. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm like baggage.
Yeah,
Taxi.
Customs and immigration. That little man holding the passport.
That's actually my least
that's all you're
favorite
looking
part,
for.
by the way, of all airport experiences. I can even stand the security. I'm cool with it. The
Yeah.
customs, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe because I had, I was a little bit of a bad kid. I didn't like cops. You know what I mean? Like, but when I get in front of a customs guy, I'm like, I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm not smuggling anything, and my heart's like, is he gonna let me in? What's gonna happen?
Did they plant something on me?
I'm like, oh my God, what happens if I rub next to somebody who's doing drugs? Like, I'm like freaking out, like.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, do I have fruit? Yeah. Oh my God, did I put that banana? Did I get rid of that banana?
Okay, we're definitely two different people. I'm not thinking about fruit for sure. I'm thinking about way worse things.
Oh, okay.
But
I tell you, it's amazing if you do have anything like that and you don't, declare it. And I had a friend whose global entry was revoked.
Oh
because
my God.
they had a piece
Really?
of fruit and they just and they got it from the airport lounge. They went to one of those
Oh my
fancy dancy
God.
lounges, took an apple, and when they entered the country, the apple was in the backpack.
Oh my God.
And they had their global entry revoked. It's like, wow.
Talk about global entry and TSA pre, which obviously I am one. My
I am
wife, on
not.
the other hand, is not. And
Whoa.
she guilt trips me when I go through global entry by myself or TSA pre by
I
myself.
only guilt trip him when I'm carrying our baby and all our clothes. So, yeah, if I'm left alone at the TSA line, of course,
Michael, if
I
I
left
knew
that
your
out. I left
middle
that out.
and last name, I would have used your whole name, and you would be in trouble. No,
No, but I
you
don't
cannot.
blame him because
She's a powerful woman.
no, he
got
sticks
it.
around, but I do need to apply. It's kind of like again.
We got to
I
get it
don't
for
really
the kid
need
too.
that.
We got to
you
get it
know?
for the kid too.
And I never
Yes,
do. I
yeah,
never
I
come
think-
around to doing it.
Yes.
Are you?
Well, isn't if you put your if you make the reservation, Michael, I believe, and it's all one number. I thought everyone under that reservation would
Used to
get.
be like that.
It used
you-
to be like
you've-
that. I haven't seen it recently.
Oh,
but it
that
used to be
stinks.
like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And the global entry for sure I haven't seen. I've seen TSA pre, but the global entry I haven't seen.
No,
Because global
yeah,
entry, they're pretty serious over there. Like,
yeah.
But talk to me about. Okay, this is a big debate that I have with people, and I'm pretty. I think I'm settled. Like I am completely settled on it. Hotel or Airbnb. I meet so many hotel people. I used to be a hotel person. Now, even it was originally because of our kid. We wanted more space. We wanted to have a kitchen. We wanted to cook specific diet for her or food for her instead of taking her out all the time. But now, even without, I love the room. I love to be able to just sit down on the couch. It's like having a penthouse. You know what I mean? And you're extremely localized too, so I get to really feel how somebody's living there. But what about you? Are you hotel? Are you Airbnb? Are you what about it?
I am just about hotel only, and I
Really?
get the appeal of Airbnb. I totally get it. I just like the professionalism of a hotel. I like to be checked in. I like that safety. Now, most of the time I am traveling for business and I have a crew of 8, so we can't Airbnb it. So it's not even a part of what we can do. But when I do travel with my family, we will find hotels that do have a kitchen because I completely agree. As soon as you have kids, it's really difficult to not have at least something so you're not eating out every single
100%,
meal.
yeah.
But I
So you're a
will
hotel.
say
You're
I'm
a
a
hotel
hotel person.
person.
But once you have that kitchen, then you have to do all the things you do at home. You have to buy groceries. You have to do dishes. Like this is the stuff that I was escaping. And it always kind of, and not always, but it kind of lands on me to do. And I just don't want that. I'm on vacation with my family, and I want to feel that all of those domestic actions that I have to do at home ad nauseum are not a part of my
They don't even
my
exist.
vacation
Like,
life.
you
They
can't
don't
have
exist.
an option.
Yep.
The
Yep,
one
absolutely.
thing that I cannot replace in an Airbnb, all the things I did here, is the lobby bar. I love the lobby bar.
It's true. There
Like
is
she's
something
getting
really-
ready, she's
yep,
taking
yep.
3 hours to get ready.
Yep,
I don't
yep.
even worry about
Yep.
it, honey. I'm gonna go to the bar. I'll be hammered by the time you come down. You know?
Exactly. Yeah, I do. And we when we stay at hotels, and we don't stay at luxury hotels, they're all mid-tier, like maybe 3-4 stars. But when they do have a restaurant, it's a lifesaver because again, you're working all day. And I don't care about having like the culinary experience of a lifetime. I just want a burger, French fries, and a glass of wine. I want to go to bed. So yeah, so I do like the hotel experience. But a lot of hotels, and this is now one of my pet peeves of hotels, is and they're usually really, I don't know if they're considered hip. They're on the more budget side, but now you have to check in at a kiosk, even when there's a person behind the desk. And I'm just like, oh, that's driving me nuts.
The whole point of a hotel is to be able to have that boutique, that one-on-one, relationship with a person that's going to be able to take you to your room. There's a bellman, people are opening doors for you. There's room service. I mean, those are all the things I do miss, but I just cannot stand like $600 a night, one queen bed. Like I can touch the TV. I needed space.
So what do you, because I find this fascinating, when you are looking at an Airbnb to stay at, like how do you determine what's a really good place? Are you reading all the reviews? Are you cross-referencing with other, how do you do it?
Okay, so there's a couple of major hacks I've become an expert at this basically because it's been 3 years of Airbnbs. We don't have a house. We don't have a car. We have nothing.
That's amazing.
Okay?
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's awesome.
So, yeah. And so Airbnb for
Vanessa's, wait, it's your parents that you're with right now, though?
Michael's parents.
Michael's parents, are they rolling their eyes right now? Or they're like, like, bring them on right now, Michael. How do you, because you're at your parents' house now?
I'm at my dad's, but he's not here right now.
Okay, all right.
We're here. He's going through some hospital procedures, so we decided to to stay with him.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So you can be around the 3-year-old as much as possible.
Hey, that helps. It really does. Grandparents love their grandchildren. Brings them joy.
So the Airbnb. So one thing for sure, you can kind of tell when it's somebody's house or it's their Airbnb. I try to go to through the images. I try to stay at Airbnbs that's the business for them.
Got it.
So I'm not like living and breathing in their pots and their pans and looking at their family photos. That to me is uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And so more and more, this has become a business for so many people. So the images are very important. Taking long looks at the images are very important. One time we booked an Airbnb, there was no windows. I did not catch that.
Wow.
Because you're just thinking there's windows in every place, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes in tropical places, you want to look for AC units, mini splits on the things because a lot of these, South America specifically, these people are acclimatized. They don't even care about air conditioning, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Another really big one that I don't think a lot of people do is street view the neighborhood that you're going to go stay at.
Great
Drop
idea.
that
Great
guy
tip.
in there, look around. Is there restaurants? How does it feel to walk around there? So, and for me, restaurants are so important. Food is so important. I heard you kind of say like, a burger and fries suffices.
Yeah.
Is that just because you've been working or what? How about like when you're traveling with your family? Is food a big part of your travel experience or not so much?
Yeah, well, absolutely. I think when we're on vacation, we absolutely know, like, okay, where do we want to try? What do we want to do? What do we want to introduce our kids to? But yeah, when I'm working, usually when we're working, we'll already put that into the show. So we're eating at nice places, or lunch is always someplace great so the experiencing the food and cuisine of a place is sort of built into my day. But so by the time that it's nighttime, I just, especially if it's another country, and it's just like, oh, I have to figure out how to order in that language, and I'm exhausted, and and there isn't the bar culture. I would say there isn't the eating alone culture that's in the United States, which I love. And I certainly saw this as a waiter waiting on tables in New York City, is that people dine alone, or there's always place at the bar, and I don't see that in Europe. And that's where I've been mostly. So South America might have it, So of course, eating is the ultimate. It's just absolutely a part of what's great about travel.
I'm a big solo eater, by the way. I mean, I don't care where I am.
Love
I just go and sit, and I become like. By the time she ends up coming to, I already have like I'm a regular at a bar. I'm a regular at a restaurant within like 2 days.
They know your name.
Yeah, and she's like, "Who are you?" My wife's like, "Why do all these people know who you are?" Like, I don't know. What do you think is like the most underrated place to visit right now?
The most underrated place to visit.
Like things that people don't even talk about,
I think Middle America is the most underrated place. So we're doing the entire Route 66.
Okay.
So I started in Illinois, and this year we've shot episodes in Missouri, Kansas City, Oklahoma, the Panhandle of Texas. Yeah, these are places that don't get a lot of travelers, and Route 66 being decommissioned, everyone just sort of uses the highway and bypasses them. But when you get off the major highways and explore the old Route 66, you discover businesses that have been there since the 30s. You discover the new guard of Route 66 and how they feel about keeping this sort of history of our country alive. You uncover the history of our country that is fascinating, deeply painful, but necessary to understand. I think we live on the coasts, where I'm in New York, you're in LA. Like, I get it. I get that we have a very different view of the world, and to learn about the Native Americans there with the basically the death marches to Oklahoma from the Midlands, to learn about, most of these areas were World War II POW camps. it was too expensive to take German prisoners and keep them in Europe, they brought them all over to the United States. So you go into these towns that used to have these camps, and you learn from the people how it affected them. And it's just you open up, and this is all very painful. There's the Tulsa massacre, but there are all these things that we were never taught in school, and yet give these people such an integrity that they've lived through this lived experience. There's so much respect for the just the persistence and strength and grit of the American experience that were, of course, the immigrant experience. So I just think that is going to come into light. We really hope with our show, just middle America, the flyover states, basically.
Yeah, I really loved what you said, because, when I was growing my company years ago, before we started traveling, I had to basically be on the road most of the year. And it was state to state. It was all states, right? And I would look at a city or our country with a new lens on. I hadn't been to these cities before. I hadn't been to some of the states, obviously. But it was just being able to appreciate it in a different way. I don't think most people do, because most people are like trying to get out of the U.S. when they travel. But there's so much beauty and history, right? We lived in Kentucky for 4 or 5 years. And it was again, very surprising. We were in Louisville, so it was a blue island in a red state. But when I was thinking about when I was going to Kentucky, everyone was like, "Are there cows there? Are you living with cows?" I'm like, "No, like this is
they're horses."
It's like it's a pretty big art scene. It's very liberal.
Oh my gosh.
And I think there's a lot of those little hidden surprises.
Yeah.
In all these different flyover states, like you said, right?
Yeah, I met so many people where I thought, I get why you guys don't like New Yorkers. I see it. I see why, the coasts think we've got everything, and maybe people look. Yeah, I got it, and the people are artistic and creative, and they kind of come out of nowhere. One man that we focused on had a barbed wire museum. And it's called the Devil's Rope, and it was in Texas. And he's a 90-year-old Texas farmer, rancher. And so, I went in thinking, okay, I have a kind of an idea of who this man is. And boy, did he surprise me. I mean, just we were talking, and the camera stopped rolling, and he said, the worst thing man has ever done is use barbed wire against another man. And I just, whoa, can we talk about that? And I never want to sort of make anything contrived. But then he started telling me about how the town he lived in was the POW camp, and how he saw kids, he was 5 years old at the time, but he saw 12-year-old German farmer kids who didn't want to be in a war. And he just told me this whole experience. He said, the United States, when we had all of the Nazi generals, and they knew they had someone that was really high up in World War II, and they captured them. They would take those higher ups on a tour of America to show them what freedom was. To show them our national parks, to show them Washington, D.C., so they could see the humanity in us. And he said, and they would never do that today. And I was just stunned. And then he pointed to the barbed wire, and he said, and now we're using that at the border of Texas against people. And I mean, I was absolutely stunned because it was not a 90-year-old Texas rancher. This is a man who has been there, done that. And I just think we all have to talk to one another and be more curious about each other. And that would go a long way. And again, I know that's a Pollyanna,
but it's true.
Salve on, what is going on in our country and possibly in other countries. But man, we just need to have a little more awe of each other, because it's pretty incredible when you think about it.
Let's talk about something a little bit lighthearted. So there was a post that people were you had a post here that people were freaking out about drinking coffee from the hotel.
I love those
from the hotel cup.
And so I want to ask you a couple of things that maybe some people think are gross. Have you ever gone barefoot into an airplane bathroom? Not sock free, not with socks.
Oh my God, that's awful. No, I have like gone with socks probably once, once or twice. I probably have gone with socks, but no, never bare feet. Oh my God, no. Is this a confession?
No, I'm big on taking my shoes off in the plane, but I do put my shoes on before I go into the bathroom, just because, it's got turbulence. Yeah. And these guys are standing up.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's creeping me out.
Yeah.
Do you drink coffee or tea on the plane? Do you drink the water, the ice, and everything? Is that cool with you?
All of it.
Me
All
too.
of it.
Me
I
too.
love plain coffee. I love convenient market coffee. I love coffee on the plane. I love hotel coffee. I love a good, obviously it's not a great cup of coffee, but it's coffee. So yeah, I always pick on Peter Greenberg. Do you know who that is? Peter Greenberg he's been like a CBS travel journalist for like 40 years, real hard hitting news, like travel news. And he always talks about never drink coffee. So I'm always like, Peter, it was really good. I had 2 cups, it's just like, what's going to happen? Nothing's going to happen.
I'm not a coffee drinker, but she falls asleep within, I would say, 30 seconds of getting up. Well, as soon as the plane is going like this, she's asleep.
Nice.
And I'm the guy,
Nice.
I'm like, I want to have a conversation. I'm like, that's why we're here together, right? And so by the time she wakes up, I got a pyramid of Jack Daniels and I'm laughing with the stewardess. And she's like, what are you doing? We've only been in the flight for 2 hours. I'm like, that's what happens.
Yeah,
I'm the guy who's like trying to play the movies at the same time. She's like, just leave me alone, dude. So one last, would you eat a snack that fell onto the airplane table?
Oh yeah.
See,
Yeah.
simpatico.
I don't care about that. Yeah.
No,
I get it. They don't clean them. So what? Okay. I'm not going to let half of that cookie that I've been waiting for 2 hours to get. Like that's a nice piece of cookie right there. I'm going to eat that. So yeah.
No, it's funny because a lot of people find these things gross and you don't know
Yeah.
why. Why is coffee on a plane gross? Oh, the water is stagnant, or I don't know what's in the water. Or like they don't change the coffee cups on the hotel rooms. Is that why?
Yeah.
Or like I worked with a producer who would wipe down every surface that you could ever touch on the plane, table, chair, the back of your head. She's like, other people put the back of their heads there. You know that.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
It
That's
depends.
exhausting. Mm-hmm. And yeah, the ones that I would get, people think people pee in those coffee machines. Like you don't know what they put in the coffee machines. I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean,
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's what I have gotten back. That you don't know what people,
coffee machines?
Yeah, so like the hotel coffee machines.
People are peeing in them.
That's what they think. Like it's open, it's exposed. You don't know how people use that. I've even been told like using when you use now, hotels don't give you the little bottles anymore. They put it in the larger ones to be more, earth friendly. That, oh no, don't use that because people have access. You can unscrew it and pee in it. Like, I don't understand this. I'm like, I don't think that's what, I'm not staying at a fraternity.
Why is everybody in your world peeing in things?
This isn't a fraternity house. It's a hotel.
At the end of every conversation, we like to do a speed round of questions.
Okay.
It's 4 questions. Just answer whatever comes to the top of mind. If it happens to take you a little longer to answer certain questions, they're a little bit heavier, by all means, okay?
Nice. Okay.
What are you most scared of?
Missing a flight.
I haven't heard that one before. Everyone's like failure.
I should say, yeah. Just the flight going wrong. I hate that. That's my biggest fear
Not
when
the
I travel.
flight going down. Just
No. Just like it was canceled. It was delayed. Oh, that's always my biggest fear. I just either want to get to where I'm going or get home. I hate the purgatory that puts you in.
Mm-hmm.
What makes you happiest?
Oh, having a whole morning off just to explore a place without anything on my itinerary to do, just to wander. That makes me the happiest.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah.
If you could eat only one dish for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Spaghetti bolognese.
Ooh, I just had that the other night.
I love that meal. Never gets old.
It's like a warm hug.
Yeah.
It really is. It's comfort food when you need it, definitely.
Last question, what's more important, visiting new places or returning to places that you love?
I am in a part of my life where visiting new places. I would like to experience new places, have a greater sense of curiosity, and bring my children with me on that as well. Yeah, new places are definitely the key.
Well, Samantha Brown, thank you so much for a wonderful conversation. It was amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And some of those hacks, I mean, the airport one is still blowing my mind. When you leave the airport, do some recon.
Just look, just left to right, not just up, left, right. It has been such a pleasure. Thank you. Your questions were exceptional. I really appreciate it. Clearly, you've done your homework, and that's always nice when we can have a really more deeper conversation about travel than just what's your favorite place you've ever traveled to, which is Brooklyn, New York, by the way. That's my favorite place. All right, it's my home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh, have a great day.
You too.
That was super fun. Samantha Brown, man. I look up to her. I love her. You just want to give her a big warm hug. As usual, thank you for listening. No Fixed Address is presented by Matador Network.
Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. We release new episodes every other Thursday.